Welcome back to the deep dive. Okay, think about this for a second. Have you ever had one of those moments where something so perfectly timed happens?
hmm
Maybe you're wrestling with some big decision, and then, bam, some random person walks by wearing a shirt with the exact phrase you needed to hear.
Yeah, that kind of uncanny timing.
Did you ever get that little feeling, even for a moment, like maybe the universe just, winked at you?
That exact feeling, that sudden, almost startling sense of connection between things that seem totally unrelated. That's really the core of our deep dives today.
Right.
We're looking at source material that's basically a guide. It focuses on decoding this thing it calls synchronicity.
Okay.
And it treats it pretty seriously, like actual communication from the universe aimed at helping you grow.
So our mission here is to sort of unpack that. We want to guide you through not just what synchronicity is, but maybe more importantly, how you might spot it.
And how to interpret it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And crucially, how to maybe tell the difference between a real signal and just, well, seeing what you want to see.
That's a big part of it.
The source material gets quite personal, too. One often mentions, like, I used to just brush off weird coincidences,
hmm
but then something changed. I started seeing real patterns, like whispers, leading me to breakthroughs, deeper understanding. It's quite compelling.
It really is. And for anyone out there looking for maybe shortcuts to getting some clarity, this material basically suggests that life isn't just random chaos.
Right.
It's more like a rich text that's just waiting for you to read it.
Okay, let's get into that then. This idea of a universal whisper. When we talk synchronicity, how does the source material really push it beyond just, luck or simple coincidence?
Well, first, we have to look beyond the surface level. The analysis we reviewed really hammers this point. Synchronicity isn't defined by chance.
Okay.
It's defined by the meaning that gets conveyed.
Mhm.
The events, yeah, they might look random on the outside, but it's the deep personal meaning you find in them that's what makes it synchronicity.
And this is where Carl Jung comes into the picture, right? The source leans on his original concept quite a bit. What was so revolutionary about what Jung added here? It wasn't just giving it a name, was it?
No, not at all. Jung's framework was revolutionary because he introduced this idea of acausality. That's the key technical bit here for you.
Causality, okay.
Right. Synchronistic events aren't linked by normal cause and effect. We're used to thinking, okay, A caused B.
Yeah.
But Jung proposed synchronicity as a causal connecting principle, meaning two or more things are tied together, not because one made the other happen,
Uh-huh.
but because they share the same psychological meaning for the person experiencing them.
Ah, okay. So it's not A causing B, but A meaning something connected to B and happening right when that meaning is bubbling up inside you?
Precisely. That explains why, say, just getting a lucky break isn't necessarily synchronicity,
Yeah.
unless it connects deeply with some internal shift you're going through.
That makes sense. It needs that internal resonance.
Exactly. And the source material tries to ground this right away with some pretty good examples.
Like what?
Well, there's the classic stuff, like having a really vivid dream, a premonition about something, and then it happens almost immediately.
Okay, yeah.
But also more practical things, like imagine you're stuck on a really complex work problem, just totally stumped.
Right.
And then out of the blue, you bump into the exact person who holds that one key piece of information you desperately needed, that kind of thing.
What strikes me there is how this synchronistic event often acts like a mirror, doesn't it? It reflects something going on inside you, whether the trigger itself is huge or tiny.
Yes, it's like objective confirmation almost of a subjective internal state, a powerful mirror.
Okay, so we've got a handle on what it is,
But-
but the really tricky part seems to be training yourself to notice it without just inventing patterns.
Right.
If these signals are supposedly happening all the time, how does the source suggest we actually sharpen our focus? How do we separate the genuine connection from just random noise?
This is where the source talks about the art of noticing. It's tricky because, look, our brains are pattern recognition machines, right? We're wired for it,
Definitely.
but we're also really suggestible. So the challenge, according to this material, is learning to tell the difference between a truly meaningful connection and just everyday stuff happening.
Okay.
It says you have to actively train your awareness, tune into subtle cues, recurring patterns, but, and this is key, that training needs a filter.
Wait a second, though. If you're actively looking for patterns, isn't there a huge risk of confirmation bias?
That's the danger.
Couldn't you just start seeing connections everywhere because you want to see them? Projecting your own needs onto totally random events? That feels like a major pitfall.
It is, and it's a critical question. The source's answer is actually kind of surprising. It points to the role of emotion.
Emotion? How so?
The analysis suggests that real synchronicity isn't primarily recognized through logic. It's recognized through intuition and emotional resonance.
Ah,
Think about it. A regular coincidence. It's kind of flat, inert, just happens. But a synchronous event. The source says it triggers this deep, intuitive ping, sort of jolt, a powerful feeling of significance or clarity, or like something deeply true just clicked into place.
so the feeling is what validates the sign. The emotional hit is what separates the real deal from wishful thinking.
That's the idea, that emotional depth acts as the filter you need. It helps distinguish authentic causal connection from just, making stuff up or deceiving yourself.
That actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, so you notice the signs because of that intuitive ping.
Right.
What's next? Understanding the message, I guess.
Exactly. Now we move into decoding. The source calls it your personal oracle. If the universe is communicating, what's the language it's using?
Right, what does that look like?
According to the source, the universe speaks in symbols. So understanding the message means learning to recognize common, synchronistic archetypes and what they might mean.
Archetypes, symbols. Can you give some concrete examples? That sounds a bit abstract. What kind of symbols does the material talk about?
Absolutely. Grounding it is important. One analysis we looked at dives into common recurring symbols, things like specific number sequences showing up repeatedly.
Like the classic 11.11.
Exactly, 11.11, or maybe seeing your own birth date popping up on clocks or received. It also covers things like animal totems. Maybe seeing a specific animal unexpectedly, repeatedly, right when you feel you need some guidance or strength.
Interesting.
Or even hearing the same song, lyric, or phrase multiple times in a short span. And it directly addresses a question you've been holding inside but haven't asked out loud.
Wow, okay, that's a much richer vocabulary than just a gut feeling. So how do you actually interpret these? How do you connect that external symbol, say, seeing an owl repeatedly, to what's going on inside you?
The core method for interpretation, the source says, is to connect that external event directly to your own internal thoughts and desires in the very moment the sign appears. It's not about looking up owl meaning in some generic symbol dictionary necessarily. It's more about asking yourself, what was I literally just thinking about? What deep fear or hope or question does this owl showing up right now seem to reflect in my life at this moment?
But memory is tricky, isn't it? If you don't somehow record this stuff, how do you know 6 months down the line that you're not just misremembering the connection, making the pattern fit after the fact?
That's a really sharp observation, and it leads straight to the most practical piece of advice the source offers for anyone trying this. It stresses the absolute need for journaling and reflection.
Ah, writing it down.
Yes, writing it down does a couple of things. It stabilizes the memory, obviously, but it also forces you to analyze the whole context right then and there. The external symbol, your internal thought, and that crucial emotional resonance, all recorded together.
So the journal becomes like your personal Rosetta Stone. It charts the history of these connections, lets you see the actual trajectory of the messages over time. If you really want to do a deep dive on this for yourself, you need the field notes.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It creates a feedback loop. It lets you verify the patterns over time and get much deeper into understanding your own unique cosmic language, so to speak.
Okay, this is fascinating. So we've gone from defining it to spotting it to decoding it. Where do we go next? How do we move from just being an observer to, as the source puts it, actively inviting and aligning with the universal flow?
Right. This is the shift from passive reception to more active co-creation. The material really emphasizes the power of intention here.
Intention.
Yes, it basically claims that setting a clear, focused, really heartfelt intention can actively amplify synchronistic experiences in your life. It's like you're tuning your personal receiver to a specific frequency.
Whoa, okay, that changes the whole dynamic. That suggests synchronicity isn't just stuff that happens to you, stuff you stumble upon. It implies you're actually collaborating with the universe by making your desired direction clear.
Exactly that. Collaboration. When you clarify your intention, not just what you want, but why it genuinely aligns with your deeper purpose, the source suggests that external events, symbols, and connections related to that intention start showing up more frequently.
You're kind of magnetizing them.
That's a good way to put it. Magnetizing the relevant symbols and opportunities towards you.
So then, how does this play into making big decisions? How do you use this to navigate choices? How do you know when you've hit that sweet spot where the inner feeling and the outer signs are lining up?
The source lays out a pretty clear strategy for that. It says the best, most aligned choices are the ones that resonate simultaneously with your inner wisdom and external signs,
Both at once.
both at once. So if your intuition, that gut feeling, rooted in that emotional resonance we talked about, gives you a strong yes,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, external events or symbols seem to confirm that path, maybe unexpected opportunities open up easily in that direction, that's when you know you're operating in flow.
It sounds like the ultimate validation system. Your inner truth is being mirrored and supported by the reality unfolding around you.
That really captures the essence of the ultimate goal here. The whole point of following this synchronistic path, according to the source, is that it guides you towards your true purpose and authentic self.
Right.
And the final piece of advice is really about cultivating a mindset of trust and surrender, trusting the process, surrendering to the unfolding of your life's path.
So letting go of needing to control everything rigidly.
Exactly. And instead, committing to listening really closely, both inside and out.
It makes me think of the difference between like paddling furiously against a strong current versus learning to set your sail correctly and letting the wind guide you where you need to go.
That's a perfect analogy.
It takes a certain amount of faith, I suppose, but it sounds like faith that's potentially backed up by observable external data points if you're paying attention.
A very good synthesis. So just to recap for everyone listening, we defined synchronicity using Jung's crucial idea of a causality connection through meaning, not cause.
Right, the meaning link.
Then we talked about spotting the signs, emphasizing that gut feeling, that emotional resonance as the key filter to avoid just seeing patterns everywhere.
Which helps guard against that confirmation bias problem. Then we got into decoding the language of symbols.
Using those archetypal examples and stressing how vital journaling is to actually bridge the external sign with your internal state at that moment.
Can't skip the journaling. And finally, application, using intention to actually amplify these experiences and making those big choices when your inner wisdom and the external signs align.
And the source material gives a very direct call to action, which seems like a good place for us to echo it. Start your own synchronicity journal today, maybe.
Just try it.
Just try it. Commit to noting down the symbol or event, what you were thinking or feeling right then, and that emotional ping if it was there. See what insights the universe might be offering you.
It leaves you with a pretty provocative thought, doesn't it? If every so-called coincidence potentially holds some kind of hidden message reflecting your deepest needs or your next step, well, what profound insight might you be overlooking right now just because you're dismissing that little wink from the cosmos as mere chance?
Something to definitely ponder.
Absolutely. Something to keep an eye out for this week. Thanks for diving deep with us today.